What are your thoughts on Andrew Tate?
I be honest with you, Andrew Tate is probably the top guy right now.
He's trending everywhere.
Exactly, right? So other than that, though, he's not somebody that I've really heard enough about.
Really?
I
Some
know
of
he's
his
got a lot
interviews.
of cars, houses. I know his net worth's like 400 or 500 million.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Build Your Own Economy podcast. Today's guest, his name is Aaron Hensley, and I promise you today you're not going to want to miss this episode. This guy is a kick-ass, badass. Really, he's in the karate business, or that's his past life. But he's been a multi-unit operator, successful business owner. Today, a coach to some of the most successful business operators in the country. Today, we're going to talk about personal development, who we follow. We're going to talk some Grant Cardone if you guys like Grant. We're going to talk some real estate. We're going to talk crypto. We're going to talk about business in general. Hopefully you get a lot out of this episode because I know I did. Just listening to Aaron, you can tell he's got a passion for serving. And that's something you don't find with a lot of people. A lot of people are looking to take, and he's willing to give. And I can tell that's why he's so successful in what he does today. And so help me in introducing our awesome guest, Mr. Aaron Hensley. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
What do you do, man? Why do people need to know you?
Why people need to know me? I think, man, one of the reasons why people need to know me is I'm a normal guy that tries to push the limits of being the best version possible and then sharing that message with other people. So, why is that relevant? Why is that important? I think a lot of us, we get in our own head. We start living a life that really isn't on our terms. And we look to people that are trying to do big things to inspire us and push us, and I try to be that for people.
Really? So when you try to inspire people, it's through your actions, I'm assuming, right?
100%. I mean, I do believe that show me, don't tell me.
You know what? That is such a good statement. I think a lot of people look at that tell me, but show me, actions show up before your words show up, right? And one of my favorite statements, is just because it made me think about it, is, I want my absence to be felt. Because they see my presence as something that they don't need because they just feel it, right? That's important to me. So, tell me what's your industry? What do you focus on?
Currently, right now, I work with small business owners, typically in service business.
Okay.
I came from the martial arts field, and that was my wheelhouse. That's what I was good at.
Like whooping ass?
Yeah, maybe a little bit, So, but what I had success, and I figured out some of the hacks in small business. And look. I think we all know how hard it is to run a business. I've heard the saying many times, running a small business is the one thing you'll do for 80 hours just so you don't have to work for 40 hours for someone else. The reality is people need coaching, they need guidance, they need help. We hire a nutrition coach or a fitness coach, financial coach, so right now I'm in the business coaching world.
Cool. What kind of businesses primarily right now are you working with?
I mean, obviously coming from the martial arts space, most of my people are in the gym business or martial arts. That's kind of the main focus.
And these are like retail gyms?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What is the average size of one of these facilities that you coach?
Square footage or financial money or member base?
Members.
I mean, they range anywhere from 60, 80 members to 400 or 500 members.
Is that like, what's the average in the industry, just so I know in the audience?
I mean, to be honest, like let's look at martial arts right now. Things have become more professional in the past decade.
What do you mean by professional? Because I'm not in that space. You mean it's just more streamlined?
Well, people can actually see it as an actual career. Like when I was a kid coming up, looking at like, do I want to do that as a profession? 9 out of 10 people did it as a hobby. They wanted to be their full time, but they worked a quote unquote day job.
That's true.
So they could work the night job, right? So in the past 10 years, there's been people who figured out how to teach other people how to make it an actual career-based type business. And so now, a lot of these businesses, they're not only one of these, they're only 2, 3, 4, 5. At my biggest, I was running 20 myself.
20?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I talk technical, but 20 units? Is that
20 units, yeah, 20 units.
20 units, so 20 actual martial arts schools.
It was a handful for sure.
I would imagine so. So, I've been in multi-unit operations in the past, and one of the biggest challenges I had was obviously people. How do you handle 20 operational?
Well, I mean, that in any small business, right? First of all businesses are run by people, right?
Yeah, of course.
So we get lost sometimes, and even big business, we get kind of lost in that. But all businesses break down. It's just people. So the secret is figuring out how to manage and push people. And the reality, I think, when it comes to people is, people do want to be led. They do want to be led.
Heck yeah.
And so that's where it goes back to show me, don't tell me, the actions. And then typically, I start thinking about who the people that I follow. And it's not so much that people who have the biggest toys or the most money, it's the people who are doing the biggest movement, right? They're inspired, they're passionate about what they do, and their passion inspires you, right? So I think that's what I was really strong at, is that people, I was very engaged, very active. I met with my people, I knew what their passions were. And I coach this to my people now is, whatever you, as a small business owner, whatever your dream is, right? Whatever you're pushing out there, first of all, you got to be able to share it with other people. You got to be able to qualify it. But then your dream has to be so big that the people with you, their dreams fit inside there. That you can actually help support those dreams, right? And I think that's what I was really good at.
Do you find, and this is just because I'm trying to find this observational, do you find that because people who worked in these offices, in these units, or these dojos?
Dojos, yeah.
Okay. Do you think that because they're from martial arts backgrounds, most of your employees is what I'm getting at, they're more disciplined than the normal employee, or do you feel like it's the same?
Well, actually, probably more than 50% weren't from that background.
Really?
Right?
So
as you scale and scale faster, you have to bring people.
Like literally, people work for you that didn't even know how to do anything yet?
Yeah, because you got to think, we don't just have the technician, the martial artist. You have people that are doing sales and other things like that, right?
Okay.
So you have people coming from other
I didn't
industries.
think of that.
Yes, I mean, look, martial arts does have the element of discipline. However, as the boom of the MMA world, right? UFC, we're in Vegas right now doing this, right? UFC taking off. Martial arts has shifted, and so there's less of that in those cultures. Now, I'm generalizing. There's people who run a great discipline program, but traditional martial arts has a discipline background. The problem is that's died away in the past 20 years in America.
So what is it today? Like a hybrid or something?
I mean, today everything is a version. It's a melting pot, right? It is America, so to speak. So there's a lack sometimes of that discipline. So it's tough. I mean, so what you would think would be easy to find, not always the case.
Well, I wouldn't know, but that's what I thought. Like when I thought, man, because I know some people in the martial arts world, and I'm like, how do they find people? And I know they're not like just finding people that are just all rock stars. I get it.
Right.
But I just thought maybe it's just easier because they're either younger or maybe they're a little more disciplined. I just thought that. I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, I wish that was the case.
Me too,
but,
for you.
Right. I think also too is look, people are people at the end of the day, and employee, business owner, doesn't matter. Like we all are designed by just natural selection. Like we're trying to get the maximum result for as little effort in, right? And an employee's trying to get maximum pay for little effort.
That's right.
An employee's trying to get maximum effort for minimum pay, right? And so somehow when you kind of measure those together, what I actually did is, I would take time to meet with my people and figure out like what is it that they're chasing in life, and really spend time with them. And what I've had to learn through trial and error and through mentors is that I could not I would always try to solve their problems. They needed more money, I'd pay them more money, right? Like, and the reality is they still have the same problem.
Yeah, you give them more money, they'd have bad habits already, right?
So the education had to happen. So I had to actually care more, not just about what they're doing to help me with my business, but how can I support them in their life, in a full aspect.
That's pretty ambitious, but it's a pretty good statement to make, because I think most companies, well, I mean, the larger you get, the harder that is. That's the truth, right? The larger you go, the harder that is. But being at the size that you were, I'm assuming you took time and you met with people, so it's really ambitious to do that. What do you find that, what was one of the biggest challenges that you had to overcome with these people, like the ones that you were trying to coach and mentor?
Well, to your comment, like big business, what they can do, they can overpay someone because they don't have that personal connection. So they can use, a bigger salary to attract people. As a small business, I don't have that luxury, so what I had to do is I had to be more in tune with my people. So the biggest challenge that people had is, honestly, kind of like me, like no one really taught me true finances, right? And I'm still feeling like I'm learning that. Next thing is you dream based on the world that you grew up in.
That's right.
So like my dreams, I mean, I grew up, pretty much poverty level. And so my dreams are based on what I thought, like, for me, I remember talking to Karate Guy one time, and this was like one of the years ago. I was in my 20s, so a long time ago.
It was like 10 years ago.
A little bit longer than that. So and we're sitting around talking, and like, man, this is when like the lottery was like real big. We're talking about, what do you do when the lottery? He's like, man, I'm gonna have the biggest karate school in the world. And looking back on that,
oh my God!
Right, but looking back on it, it's like, how small is our thinking, right? Like we thought, oh man, if we win $100 million, we're gonna go build
But
it,
Veronica
right?
is
And
cool.
that's it, obviously ego play at the time, but also that was the world we knew. We didn't know anything, right? And so now I think my issue is even to this. I think that's still the challenge that I face coaching people, but also for myself. Every time I try to dream up something really big, I'm like, okay, pause. Is that actually big enough? Because typically, whatever I've worked towards, I've gotten.
That's a
know?
powerful statement.
So-
It's so interesting. Just yesterday, I'm in a group chat with some friends, and where I live, we live deep South Texas, so it's very southern, right on the border. And then the nearest biggest city is San Antonio, and
Okay.
that's about 4 hours of a distance. And one of my buddies in the chat was just like, later when I get a little older, I think I'm gonna move to San Antonio and buy a nice little house. And he sends a picture of a house, and it's like 700 grand or something.
Right.
And this guy is not poor, by the way. He
Right.
does make pretty decent money, but I wanted to be the dick on the conversation and be like, bro,
Why don't you do it right now?
Yeah, like this is not a.
It's not an end goal.
Yeah,
Right.
I was like,
That's
dude,
a today goal.
like,
Do it today.
and even at that, like, he's like, because there's more things to do there, and I'm just thinking, why wouldn't you just travel the world?
Sure.
Like, why don't
Sure.
you? That's how I thought too. What you just said is like you're thinking just way too small.
Well, to that comment, I'm with you. You and I think the same on that. However, when I also talk to people, everybody's motivated by different things,
Oh, yeah.
right? So, for like my parents, their goals were like have no debt, their bills are paid for,
Oh, yeah.
and then be able to travel once a year, and they're happy. And when I say they're happy in their world. I see their life. I'm like, all right, I would want more. I'm the guy who's never satisfied. I'm discontent
obsessed.
all the time, right?
You're obsessed with more.
Yeah, and
That's right.
and by the way, it's not. I don't think that ever gets solved.
It's not going to. There's another level.
And I hope so. As a matter of fact, I mean, I want to live the rest of my life doing that. And it's not about what you acquire, because when I look at people like I look at Elon as an example all the time.
Heck yeah.
Is he's sleeping at his office. He's got more money than anybody, but he's not driven by that. I don't measure things in financial status. Money's a tool to do all those things, but the reality is like it's the ability to go do something that you haven't done before. That's really what drives you and motivates you.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what excites me. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's the win. You're a winner.
yeah, and
You're a winner.
It's yes, I'm with you. It's also about like even this connection.
Yeah.
There's 8 billion people on this planet. How many can I meet and know their story and collaborate with, or just it's passing by? It could be just a conversation at a restaurant one time, right? Somebody you meet, and that's where joy comes from life. Being able to put yourself in a position where you're always a player. You're always in the game.
Heck
right?
yeah. I had a mentor. He's still somewhat of a mentor. I don't talk to him as much as I did. This is an early on mentor, but he was in his late 60s, almost 70, and this guy had managed a $2 billion portfolio. He had been a VP for a large national bank that we all know. Guy had tremendous success, had a beautiful home in the
Right.
Texas Hill. Anyways, all this stuff. And, one day I said, hey, let's go to dinner. So we sat down at dinner, and we're sitting there, and I'm like, look, why are you still going?
Right.
Like, what is the point here? Like,
Right.
I was still growing in my personal development. I said, why are you doing this? And he looks at me and goes, because I'm a fucking winner.
Right. Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah. Like, there you go.
Well, so going back to the martial arts space, I'm with you on that. Going back to the martial arts space, I would tell my staff, one of the things that bothered me was what I call the hypocrite martial artist, the guy who never took a seminar, never took a workshop. He did it 20 years ago. It stopped because he became a teacher, right? And when you become a teacher, sometimes you stop becoming a student. And I would tell my people, anytime that ever happens to any of us, including myself, and since I'm the guy at the top, we're going to put a sign on the door and tell people, don't come in the door. We've quit training a long time ago. We've given up on success. And so to be a great teacher, you got to be a constant student,
Yeah.
right? And so I never want to get off the ride. And once you're ready to get off the ride, you might as well just broadcast it, right? Like don't keep being involved with people and pushing people and talk the game if you're not living the game too.
That's right. Yeah. Because some people want to just, everybody wants to be a teacher. There's a statement in those who can't teach.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah,
Those who can't
yeah.
teach because they just can't do it, right? So you have to prove the model before you can actually.
It's like nowadays all the young guys want to be an Instagram influencer. And they haven't done shit to
yeah.
actually influence anybody yet.
I feel like that's every college professor, bro. Like,
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's all it is, right? It's a bunch of people who have said that they understood the concept.
Right.
I mean, it's easy to understand, get a bunch of followers, go to the world and sell some shit. But
And I'm sure there's some good ones out there, but every time I hear someone tells me they're in college to learn business, I'm like, ask your professor how many businesses they started, built
Yeah.
up. One of my mentors always talks about the 3 questions you ask somebody. what's the most amount of money you ever made in a year? What's the biggest thing you ever built? What's your biggest exit? And he says, unless someone's done something more than him, he's not listening to their advice, right?
Yeah.
And so, because it's called polling. Here's a mistake that owners do. They go ask their staff, hey, what do you guys think about this?
Yep.
And they literally let their staff dictate the success of the business, or therefore typically not. I mean, you're paying these people to work for you. They're trusting you with vision and purpose, and you're going to go ask them for big advice. So you should always poll up. Go to someone who's done the bigger things. Don't go to your mentor for that, not to someone you're paying $12 an hour.
It's hard to find mentors, though, don't you think? It's just hard to find people who, when you're doing big things like you, for an example.
No, I think it's easy to find mentors. I think it's hard to find people who are actually real.
Well, okay, well, that's true. That's what I mean. That's a good statement.
There's plenty of people that want to be in that seat. What I've learned about mentors is the people who that are real, that have been there, done it.
You don't find them on Instagram.
You don't find them there, and they typically do want to help you. They actually, I was scared of people who are way successful because in my mind, I almost put them in a celebrity status, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're in this corner over here, and they're like, look, don't touch type thing. But some of my early mentors in my life in the business world were self-made business owners that became successful, not just financially, but they stayed playing the game. They never got off the ride, so to speak. And they were the ones who were like, hey, come over here, let me show you what I've done. Here's what I did. And they wouldn't do it for you. They wouldn't necessarily open doors for you. They would maybe point you in the right direction, but they were willing to spend time with you, which most valuable thing they can give you at that time, right?
Yeah,
is their time. So
I think we reach levels of sometimes. I mean, I have trouble finding people I can look up to, because one of my early mentors told me this. He said, you always find people to mentor you that you can't outgrow. And I'm like,
right.
Damn, like that's a powerful statement, because there's a lot of people who are very successful in their own right, but we could pass them in 2 years.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And that's a hard thing to say.
I've passed some of my mentors before, maybe not on a financial status. Sometimes people, they've done one or two big things in their life, but I've passed some people that were mentors in my life where they stopped growing.
Yeah.
And they had a lid, and they actually wanted to get off the ride. They cashed in their big thing and they were done.
They hit retirement.
Right.
But they all
and they were young, but
yeah.
they were done, right? And so I've had that happen a few times. And it took me a while to recognize it.
It actually, I think that pisses me off more than most things, man. When I see somebody who's young and it's just like, oh, I just sold for
it's fear. It's fear.
I sold for $30 million and I'm just done. And I'm like, you're like 40.
You're just beginning.
Yeah,
you're
like,
just beginning,
what are you going
right?
to do?
Yeah.
I'm just going to like chill. I'm putting it all in bonds. We're going to live off the interest.
That's playing it safe. That's
and I'm like, dude, that's such a bitch move.
Well, I think that's because what happens is all right, so for example, when I was younger, right, everything's just scalable, right? So like when I was younger and I would have a couple thousand to my name, like your decisions on how you spend that money because you're in scarcity mode. Well, when you think when you're gonna have $1 million, you're gonna be out of that mode. And reality is when you have it, you realize how little that really is.
It's nothing.
So actually the scarcity mode is even more. So what happens to these people is the fear all of a sudden kicks in. They're like, oh shit, I can't do that again. They actually think they can't go reproduce it again. Whereas look at Elon, he sells PayPal, and what does he do? He puts all his chips on the table.
Yeah.
Right.
He said, I can do this shit again.
He goes invest in 3 different companies, puts it all on the table, and almost lost it, of course, but he might
lose it again.
He might go broke, right? But he's gonna keep shooting that shot.
Hey,
and what I've learned is like once you've done it and you keep playing the game and you're willing to put all your chips on the table, the worst thing is you go broke. Once you go broke, you can get it back again because now you know the sauce on how to get there, right?
Yeah.
So
who are do you follow anybody that we would know, like influencers? Somebody you find as somebody?
I mean, so my 2 biggest influencers right now that I'm involved with on a personal level is a guy named Brandon Dawson and then Grant Cardone.
Oh yeah.
Right. So those are
those
people.
are the boys, man.
Right. I went to an event. I took my staff an event in 2019. Read a book before that.
What's your favorite book by him?
Be Obsessed or Be Average. Right.
Yeah.
And
that's my jam, dude.
So that's
my jam.
What I like about it is it felt like just a real person. And I know there's people saying all the negative things about him, but what I like about him is I felt like it was the first time someone was talking business not over my head, and it was more like, they call him Uncle G, but I felt like it was someone who was a buddy of mine that was like giving me some hard truths. And then I met his business partner that he currently has now before they're business partners.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so Brandon's been really influential into how I treat people, scale people. Like it was those 2 combinations of those 2 people. My first mentor that has passed away now that I never got to meet, but accidentally was a mentor was going to karate tournaments as a kid. My dad would play these cassette tapes by a guy named Zig Ziglar.
Oh yeah, baby.
And it was how to raise positive children in a negative world. And my dad was trying to be a better father, better person.
That's
and I'm
interesting.
7 years old in a car we didn't have phones and
Yeah,
headphones.
yeah, it was a
I'm being
cassette or
forced.
something,
Yep,
yeah.
I'm being forced this information. And that was planting the seed to be the person I am now, that I craved that self-education.
Dude, I love Zig Ziglar, man. Just he had a way of words.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
An artist.
And even to this day, if you listen to his stuff, a lot of people haven't heard of him before, and I'm like, so it's still relevant to this day.
Help people get what they want.
That's true.
And you'll get what you want.
Yeah.
It's just like give before you take. That's
Yep.
all. That's the principle, and it's so true, right? I see so many people today, in any business, in any world, anything. It's like, how can you help me? That's like the first question, and it's like, no, you do it the other way. How can I help you?
Yeah.
And then don't ask, because it'll come. It
will.
just comes.
It will. Naturally, that's kind of my motive and how I operate anyway. But it goes back to, like, I think even Grant today is just a grown-up version of someone like Zeke because Grant will talk about, like, when you sell from the idea of from service, you're there to service the person, that the sale will eventually come.
Yeah,
right?
well, if you believe with super conviction that your product can solve a problem, and that
Yep.
problem, you're the best person in the world to solve it, there's nothing wrong with asking for any amount of money.
I agree.
And you can ask for it, and you should just be convicted, and you shouldn't change the price. I mean, Grant is, there's 3 people I told myself I was going to follow more of this year. Grant Cardone, which I actually was member, I went to his first 10X,
Yep.
I've done a bunch of stuff with him. Alex Ramosi.
I might be speaking at 10X this year.
You what?
What?
I'm like, really? Because I'm thinking about going.
All right, let's go, baby.
So it's actually here in Vegas.
It's in Vegas,
right?
yeah, next
It's at,
month,
what
next
is it,
month, MGM?
MGM?
Next
Dude,
month.
okay. So Alex Ramosi, you follow?
Yep, he's in Vegas.
Okay, so it's Grant Cardone, Alex Ramosi, and Patrick Bet-David.
Yep.
Those are my 3 guys. Like, I don't want to follow anybody else.
He made a big sell recently.
Oh, yeah, he had a huge exit, like
Yeah.
a 9-figure exit.
Yeah, big time.
Like, dude, that's killer. But the guys on point, everything they do. So by the way, let's get some controversial stuff
Sure.
here, because what are your thoughts on Andrew Tate?
You know, I be honest with you, I know Andrew Tate mostly through my son, who's 14.
Okay, what's his perspective? Because I got to hear this.
I mean, top G, you know. But I really, honestly, I don't know enough about him to even make a comment.
Well,
I don't like.
Well, do you feel like your son had some positive influence by Top G?
So, you know, my son's 14. He wants to use social media as a platform. He has Instagram.
Okay.
So that's the currency of the world for young people, right? Social media.
Oh
is
yeah,
the currency of the world.
everybody
So,
believes that's what it's going to be.
and so Andrew Tate is probably the top guy right now.
He's trending
you know,
everywhere.
Exactly, right? So other than that, though, he's not somebody that I've really heard enough about.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't followed him enough. I've just watched.
I
some
know
of
he's
his
got a lot
interviews.
of cars, houses. I know his net worth's like $400 or $500 million.
Has or had? I don't know at this point, right? At this point, it might not be anything.
Right. So, but I mean, if that's true, then he's done something right in life, because you can't. I don't know how you swindle. I mean, I guess you can your way to that.
I mean,
but
FTX, bro. I mean, they had billions.
That's a crazy thing right there. Yeah.
Were you an investor in
No.
that? Are you a crypto guy?
I am. Yep.
Okay, so what's your crypto? What's your flavor?
I mean, right now I just have Ethereum and Bitcoin. Two
Okay,
things, so.
cool. Simple.
Simple.
Do you feel like that's going to go to the moon someday?
So I want to say yes.
Or are you just sitting on it because you're too far down? You just gotta wait it out.
No. So actually, here's how I found about Bitcoin. Actually, someone paid me in Bitcoin 7-8 years ago, and had no idea what it was. I think at the time it was like $700-800 somewhere like that. And then when it ran up to like $2,000-3,000, I sold it. Right, thinking like, you know, they gave me like $700 of value. And
you got three times the money or whatever.
So that was kind of my first kind of understanding about it. And then a couple years ago, when it was going from like 12 to 13 to 14, I bought some then, held it when it got to like 30, right? So, and I bought it back when it dipped this time. So I've probably, I don't want to say I made a lot of money, but I've probably done okay. Here's my thing about Bitcoin is I believe in the concept and the idea. Will the government eventually allow it, or will they find a way to basically screw you over and tax it in some regards? You know, not just on the wins, but will they come control it in some capacity? I just, more government is not good, and what I feel is like we're moving more and more to big government over and over again. So I just don't see how it wins unless there's some major setback in the world.
Well, I kind of see it the opposite. I think that if government stepped in and regulated it heavier, I think we'd have more what we would call certainty, and
Sure.
then you'd have more investors, because people don't like investing.
Yeah,
in
but
things that
will
are,
it be used as a currency, or will it just be a stored value, right?
got it. It may be a gold bar.
Right,
at that
exactly.
point. It
So
might
if
be
that's
a
the
gold.
case, which I own gold too, like,
Yeah.
if that's the case, all right, but that wasn't really its design, right? Like that's part of its design, not the whole course.
Yeah.
So here's my thought on it: is I got a little bit of money on it. If it goes to zero, I'm not dead. If it goes to the moon, great. But then if it goes to the moon, like, am I using this money for something? Like if the world, it's kind of like to me people who store a bunch of bullets and food in their house, thinking that the world's
The
coming,
doomsday
right?
people.
That's my dad.
Oh my! Your dad is that way, really?
So if the world ends, I'm going to his house.
He's got enough ammo and enough food.
He's going to last for a little bit, yeah, for sure. And he's still got the old school mentality, so he's a good guy to have in a fight. But so I think Bitcoin, Ethereum, any crypto. And here's what's crazy about the crypto world is everybody you're gonna create a coin. I'm gonna create a coin. Like who verifies this stuff?
Yeah. Well, that's what's actually happened. So over the last few years, it's just been a bunch of people making these coins.
Yeah, meme coins,
and then what they do is, they call it shit coins, right?
Yeah.
And then they just get a bunch of people to buy them. They pump them and dump them.
Yeah.
Pump and dump. Pump and dump.
Those
Little
people
Ponzi
need to be
schemes.
taken outside.
Dude, they do, and there's a lot of them. I have a buddy of mine who went up to like $5 million in one of those
Did he
coins.
cash out? Oh, see, that's the thing.
And he's like, it'll come back. I'm like, dude,
Yeah, no,
you
probably not.
fucking
Right.
lost.
Here's the other thing that pisses me off though is whether it's crypto or anything. There's people out there who do take advantage of people.
Oh yeah,
And,
for sure.
Like, I've told this to Alex. Like, here's my dream job. Here's my dream job. Okay, become a billionaire. All right, but I don't want to be famous billionaire. I don't want to be like, I want.
Sure you don't.
No, what I'm saying is, I can't pull off the next thing. But what I would want to do is, like, my favorite two people is James Bond and Batman. Favorite two people.
Okay.
I'd want to travel the world. Be under the radar, be able to go help and bless people that never know it's for me. Right.
Well, that would be cool.
Right. And then go kick ass of the people who are just taking advantage of people. Right. Just go, because there's so many people that I've known that have made a lot of money taking advantage of people. And no one stands up like that because of fear or whatever. Like, that'd be the perfect world. Like, go help people that are in need, and then take care of the people who are taking advantage of people.
It sounds like something like Richard Branson would do.
Yeah,
Or something,
yeah,
right?
exactly,
You know what I mean?
right?
Like he'd be like the guy.
I see Elon like that right now.
Yeah.
Like he obviously he's building a company so he wants to make profit, but he's so driven by a mission, a purpose, a passion. But also he's looking out for like
The little guys.
Well, I think for not just little guys. I think he's looking out for the world.
Democracy.
Right? Like
Freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom.
So yeah, that would be a.
That's actually a cool ambition, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I think that's really cool. I don't think you need $1 billion to do that.
No, I mean I do it. I do it in slight ways right now, but
Yeah,
it'd be sexier
It'd
if
be,
you had $1 billion.
it'd be a lot easier.
The cars, the places, the
Like,
things
this
you
guy's
can do,
going
yeah.
down the road in a Batmobile and shit. I got this shit.
The gadgets will be more fun.
Yeah. So transition this, because I know you're a heavy real estate investor.
Yep.
What do you think about the current market?
Look, whether it's going back to crypto or real estate or stocks, whatever, like everything has a cycle, right? Everything has a cycle. So I think now, next conversation could be: is it a real cycle? Or is it a forced cycle? Right? Is this do things?
Well, it's going to be forced by the government.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey.
Or is someone else even above them? The people, the big players, real players. But the cycle that we're in right now is a lot of people are, when fear is in the water, what do people with money do?
They go back. They
Right.
retreat.
Well, that's what the average person does.
Well.
But people that I know with money is they're always looking for the right opportunity.
Oh, but that's the middle market. The guys with the real money, Blackstones and stuff, they're out.
Right.
They're not touching it because they need to step away to protect their investors. Right. That's what they're technically.
Right.
But the middle market, the guys, you're right. The guys that got money,
Yeah.
what are they doing?
Well, I mean, they're trying to be smart and trying to find the right deal, and because if you're doing what the masses are doing all the time, you're probably doing the wrong thing.
That's right. So when people
so-
say buy, you don't buy. When
Right.
people say
Right.
sell,
Exactly.
I think that's the best advice anybody can give. Like, whatever everybody's doing, don't do that.
The other thing is too, though, is like when you look at real estate, I think this is what people do is they get excited about something and they think they're going to invest X amount of money, get this for same thing in Bitcoin. They thought, hey, if I put in $5,000 now, it turns to $10,000 tomorrow, right? That you might as well go to the casino and just do that. So if you're understanding that real estate's a long play, I don't necessarily know there's ever necessarily a bad time. There's a bad deals. There might not be a bad time though.
Yeah. There's never gonna there are bad deals out there for sure, but that could be in a good or a bad market.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So the deal would make sense. I don't think timing, right? I mean, if you're trying to time something perfectly, you might as well, like I say, go back to the casino.
So that's kind of shitty because many people are trying to time it, right? Like that's the normal average person. I'm gonna time this. We're gonna be perfect.
Bitcoin,
we're gonna be perfect.
Real estate, yeah.
I mean, if you had to pick an asset class between, let's say, crypto, stock, or real estate, where are you gonna put all your chips if you had to put them somewhere?
I mean, I like real estate. That's where I'm putting my money. One because, I mean, I can see it, I can touch it. It's real to me. It's I understand it. I mean, I think it reminds me. I mean, it runs like a business, right? I put money in the stock market. I've got no control of Apple or whatever. I can go buy a product, but I can't make business decisions for them. You're not going to make it. Right? Yeah.
You're not going to impact it by the laptop,
I can't buy enough. Right? I can't buy enough stock to have any say. Right? So, I mean, really, truthfully, if I had one bet, I would invest in businesses that I had ownership in and had control in, because I can create the cash flow to do those other things. That would be if I had one bet.
Yeah.
But as an asset class, for an investment piece, then real estate for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I always tell people people come to me and say they want to get into real estate for cash flow. I'm like, that's
right.
not,
no.
I mean, you will, but it's not, you can't live off of it unless you got a lot of it.
Right.
And then, so they're like, what do I do with my $50,000? I'm like, put it back in your business. That's the number one way to do it.
What I teach people to do, depending on where they are in cycles, is basically take your money in thirds. First of all, if you have a business, right? Create enough profit. So, right, that's step one, right? You just got to run your business right. But take your profit, break it in thirds. First third, put it back in the business to keep feeding the beast.
Yeah.
What most people, I made a mistake too. What most people do is they start making money. What do they do with the money? Provides their lifestyle move, right? So they start they live better, they have nicer cars, whatever, better vacations. So then what happens is the well dries up.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then they panic. Oh shit, I got to get back to work. Well, you should have been at work. So what I teach people to do is make a profit, take the first third of it, pour it back into the business so the profits keep coming. Second third, put it in something more liquid, right? Like if you want to put it in a dividend stock or something that if you can touch if you need to, but it's an investment piece. And take the other third, play a long-term game. That's your real estate, where you're putting it somewhere that kind of protects your money and you don't touch it for a while. Or you can be I'm more aggressive than that, but that's kind of
that's a fair statement.
It's a fair way to play there.
I think that's a good formula.
But definitely business is the way. Like step one is like, real estate's not going to pay you 40x on your money. Like a business can.
Golly, man.
However, everybody that's ever told me not to get in real estate, when I talk to them, they bought one deal one time, and they bought a house, they rented out, and they got burned by one bad tenant. And the problem is they had one, right? So
you need more of those. You need multifamily.
You need either multifamily or you need 50 of those single units if you're going to do it, right?
Yeah.
So you got to play bigger. Same thing for business. I know people who started a business, it didn't go well. They're like, I'm never going to run a business again, right? I mean, people, if they would have just quit on their first thing, would have never made it.
Dude.
So
from a multifamily standpoint, are you in multifamily right now? Are you looking?
I'm not. I'm an LP, not a GP.
Would you like to be a GP?
Yes, for sure.
You want to do a deal?
Let's do it. Yeah, of course.
All right. I mean, I'm being serious. We can find a deal.
I'm 100% serious.
We'll find a deal. I mean, I know you got enough friends that probably want to get in the deal.
Absolutely.
That probably are people who want to do something. We got some properties coming on the market this month.
Good. So you know what window shopping is, right?
Yeah.
So as a kid, I would go. When I say kid, young adult, let's put it that way. I would go window shopping for things I couldn't afford, right?
Yeah.
Right, nice shoes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
right?
Heck yeah. Me too.
But
actually,
yeah, right. But now I window shop differently. My window shopping is every day. I look at real estate every day, right? Commercial units. I looked at something today that's a mix of an Airbnb and a commercial unit together. Every day I look at something, and I'm window shopping. Sometimes I'm looking at stuff that's way out of my price range. Sometimes things are a little above, right, and a little motivating. But yeah, 100% want to be.
I actually, so I don't think of it that way, but I do that every day too. Like I have apps and things hit me, and I have brokers sending me deals, and I'm just.
Well, it keeps the dream alive, right? So like I'm looking at stuff that I know that I'm a few years away from being able to pull the trigger on.
Yeah.
Like right now, like I go to Cabo every year with my wife. Love Cabo. I want to own something there more, not from an investment standpoint, just to say I own it. I know it's an ego play. It's right. But the way the laws are there to buy something, the way it's a cash deal.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at stuff that I know that I'm years away from doing, but I get alerts almost every day. I'm looking at it. I'm like, it helps the dream of when you're dealing with difficult stuff and you have that compelling future you're working towards.
It's interesting.
Makes it easy.
It's interesting because I mean, you have a better description of it, but I'm the same way though. Me and my wife are always, she's sending me this deal. I'm sending her a deal. I'm like, look at this. This is awesome.
Are you a car guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, what's your dream car?
Right now I'm so I don't like cars.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I want a Colon right now.
Okay.
It's not like my dream, but I think I could get one probably in
For
a year or
sure,
two.
right? So like I remember as a 15-year-old about to get a car, right? You know, trying to figure out what car. I'm looking at, I like sports cars, right? So I was looking at Mustangs and Camaros and things like that. And then, you know, didn't get one right off the bat. Obviously, I wasn't ready for a car like that. But I would go and I would research and know everything about it. I look at my son now. My son's really big into shoes, right? He's got more shoes than I've gotten. But that was just a form of like, it inspired you to go work hard to make money so you can throw at this. That's why I look at real estate now. Real estate is like that sports car. It's like I'm dreaming of what I'm going to own one day.
Dude. So what is your dream car? It's got to be. I feel like you're an older car guy.
I do. So, man, if I could have a Shelby GT, actually a Ford GT would probably be the dream car because those are hard to find.
Damn.
But right now, I don't even like Lamborghinis, but I'm going to buy one probably this year just to say I own one. I'll probably keep it for a year and get rid of it.
I like the style, dude.
Almost bought it last week. I don't even really want it, but I do things like that sometimes just because it's like checking the box in your life.
Oh yeah, I
But,
would agree with that.
Dream car, Ford GT. That would be a dope car. It's $500,000 car.
Well, Lambo's not bad either, dude.
Lambo's kind of cliche though.
I
right?
just can't I've gotten in one. I sit down. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't really like it. It's
No.
not even comfortable.
No.
It's like I'm about comfort.
My daily driver is way more comfortable.
You got what is it? G, right?
It is, yeah.
You
It's
got a
cliche.
G-Wagon.
It's cliche too.
No, but that's cool, dude. A G-Wagon is not that cliche because most people who want to be little influencers buy a Lambo or a Ferrari. You're like, I'm a G.
Right. Yeah. Well, I had the C8 Corvette before that, and then I've got 2 kids, and my wife's always saying you can't take both kids with you right now. I got a 2-seater car.
Like, I'm not trying to take kids.
So I told her that's what I got your vehicle for.
You're like, I'm not trying to take nobody. Actually, I'm just trying to go places.
So actually, I didn't buy the G at first. I went and bought some other Mercedes SUV, and I hated it. The guy called me. He's like, "What do you want?" I was like, "I want a matte black G-Wagon." He's like, "Someone," because this is when the prices went up. He's like, "Someone can't get financing for theirs. Do you want this one?" And he sent me a picture. I'm like, "I'll be there Monday."
Damn.
So,
well, that's top G.
Yep. It's a car.
Hey man, it is a car actually.
Yeah.
I actually, it's not that I couldn't find one. I wanted to buy one this past year, but the prices went through the roof.
I mean, I overpaid $60K for sure.
Oh no, the ones I was looking at were like $100K over, and I'm like, dude, I'm not. I
don't even know what the retail is on those things, what they're supposed to be. So.
They're like 180.
Yeah, so I probably paid.
I did pre-order one though.
Okay.
I pre-ordered a 23.
Okay.
So I mean, I'll get one.
They're making a electric version of one.
Oh, dope. I saw that.
Looks pretty dope.
I'm not into the EV vehicle stuff, but I mean, to be truthful, it wouldn't matter to me. I just want something that gets me places. Sure. But if it doesn't get me very far, I'm not buying it.
The thing about cars is, like, I've owned so many cars in my life. They're cool for a minute, but it's a shiny object that wears off after. I mean, it's
like you're just like, I'm done. Let's do another one.
Yeah. So
I'm with you on that.
I've never so far knock on something. Like, I bought my C8 for 114. Kept it for 12 months, sold it for 114, put 10,000 miles on it, right?
I don't know if you're doing that with a G, by the way.
Probably not right now in this market.
You're gonna wait a while.
But I've never, in the past like 5-6 years, I've made money or broke even on every car, and I kept it for a while. So
I have a buddy who car hacks who does that.
I don't even do it intentionally. I've bought smart or got lucky or the market time, but whatever. So
there's a science to it, but you have to buy high end, like $400,000 or $500,000 cars.
That's the other thing I've noticed too. Real estate and vehicles. When you buy something, all right. So for example, if I bought, like I say, a Range Rover, right? They're nice vehicles.
Yep.
Can keep it for 2 years, you go try to sell it, it's depreciated big time.
Oh, like 40%.
But you go find a 6-year-old G-Wagon, they're still 140K.
Oh yeah, they are.
Right? Like, so when you go for higher end stuff, they hold their value, or sometimes they can appreciate depending on what you do, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's why they call it the car exotic car hacks are
Yep.
literally cars that are probably 3, 4, 500 or a million.
Yep.
And they won't depreciate.
Yeah.
You could drive them 1,000, but you're not supposed to daily drive them though.
Right,
It's
right,
like
for sure.
it's a weekender,
Yep.
but you'll sell it, use
That's
it for
all
a
I
year.
would do with the Lambos. I'd drive it for a weekend or whatever.
Yeah, I mean
Keep
it'd be
it for a
cool to
year.
go to a nice restaurant in that.
That'd be dope, yeah. Except I'm always worried about where you park. Like, you valet.
Well, where you live in
Knoxville,
is
Tennessee.
it not a nice area place?
I mean, if you go downtown, you're parking on the street. So like even parking a Corvette down there felt
Well,
weird.
I don't live in a nice place either. If I had a Lambo, I'd be like, where am I gonna? Like, there's no
Yeah.
valet anywhere.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like
exactly.
I wouldn't be able to take that
Yeah.
thing anywhere.
and then someone, you scrape. I remember I had my wife's car. She has a nice SUV, and we were in Nashville, and we valeted. And the guy, the rims are not cheap on those vehicles, right? So she has an AMG Mercedes, and the guy scraped the wheel, and I'm like, I mean, that's like $600 repair on the type things.
Yeah,
so that's the other
dude.
thing is you have a nice car. People aren't always taking care of your
No,
stuff. Like,
they don't even
right?
care,
No.
man.
But
So
it's all toys.
it is. Well, it's all material. I've learned to think that one of the things that most people don't understand is that like once you the material things are just like a placeholder, and it's like it's a reflection of your success in some respects, because the more money you make, the better stuff you can get.
Sure.
But like you don't have to like hold it in such high regards that if it gets a dent or a scratch, life is over.
Yeah.
And that I don't think that way.
Well, I look at it, being in Vegas, if you gamble, for example, if you go play blackjack, and if you're playing, let's say you buy them for $500, that's all the money you have spent, and you're betting 50 a hand, you only get 10 hands to play.
Yeah.
Right? So your decision making, you're stressed. But if you buy them for 5,000 and play for 50 a hand, and the $5,000 you can afford to lose, well, you might make bad decisions because it doesn't hurt you. So there's a position where there has to be some pain, but not so much where. So for example, if you buy a car and you're so worried about where you're parking it, you probably shouldn't buy the car. You don't have enough money to buy the car.
I had somebody tell me that like a month ago, because I mean I drive a nice BMW,
Yeah.
and they're like, you drive through the car wash,
Yeah.
like the drive-through. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
right.
like, well, what do you care? I'm like, I'm not gonna own this fucking car.
That's right,
I'm
exactly.
like, this car is gonna be gone in less than a
Yeah.
year, bro. Like I don't even care about this car. Like
So-
I will fuck it up. It
So
doesn't
I do
matter.
believe in taking care of stuff, but like
Yeah.
I said, when you have stuff that you're so worried about, like, you won't let your wife drive it, then you probably shouldn't buy it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like that. Like I'm not
So-
reckless. I'm
Right.
just not. It's not that important. A little scuff
And
here and there. It's like that's
It's also
just
what you
life.
value, right?
Yeah.
Like I do value experience in life, like travel,
Yeah.
seeing things, going to places with people, doing things for people. I value that way more than any
I
possession.
can tell that
so
about you, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I value my health more than I value anything else.
I'm learning to value
so
that.
that's the one thing
I'm
I
learning to
do.
value
Like
that.
one, I won't sacrifice. I'll spend any amount of money on my health.
Right.
Any amount. Like there's
I
not a
just
dollar.
got some new toys coming to the house
What'd
for
you
health.
get?
So I've neglected health the past 4 years,
What'd you get,
chasing
the
business
What'd
success.
you get? The Superhuman Program?
Got it. Yep.
Oh, I do too. It comes in this week.
Okay. Cool. Dope. I like it. I like it.
I just ordered the oxygen, the red light therapy, and the
And I got the cold
yeah.
plunge pool.
Oh, did you do? Which one did you do?
I got the one from Shark Tank, the plunge pool one. Yeah.
I don't know which one, because I see there's this one that hits me with ads all the time. The white one.
Yep, that's it. That's the one. Yep.
Dude, so the guy from Da Vinci is where you probably ordered your.
Yep, mhm,
Yeah, okay.
yep.
So he told me about another company. I can't remember.
There's
the
some
name
cheaper ones out there for sure.
No,
So,
no,
like,
he told me that
different
they used to sell it. Da Vinci sold it.
Okay.
And they stopped, but he said that was like the
better
best one. And
Yep.
and so I've been wanting to do a cold plunge, and I've been wanting to get a sauna.
Yep. So sauna will be the last on my list because I'm going to build a whole space outside. So I'm going to wait till I do that. But
Well,
yeah.
you live out in, like in Knoxville. I'm assuming you could build one of those barrels and it'll look fucking cool.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And it was 3 degrees on Christmas the other day. So like I can't imagine trying to get in that because it's going to be outside where I'm putting this thing. So
I have a little area, and so one of my buddies, who's kind of our guy, we're actually launching Build Your Own Economy Health.
Okay.
And he's doing talking to me about all the things we're gonna do, and I got to connect you guys.
Yeah,
I think you would,
pretty cool.
because 10x is cool.
Yep.
Because I'm assuming that's what you're part of.
Yep, of course.
We've done some things. There's some like tweaks that we
yeah,
can make.
I like
that
it.
is
Cool.
like
Yeah, that was my Christmas present for me and my wife is to get all that stuff so we can start that.
heck
Yep.
yeah, that's the exact same thing I
Yep.
told my wife. I said we got to take this to the next level.
Yep.
Anything you want to share with the audience? Maybe they can connect with you. You're doing something big that they can work with you on. If they're a business owner.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're a small business owner and you're looking how to have some direction in your company, to scale your company, sometimes just having peace so that you're making the right decisions, You can find me on Instagram as team_Hensley.
Team Hensley.
Yep. Or AaronHensley.com for a website.
There you go. And if somebody want to work with you, what would they? Is it like a process? Do they get on a
We'll
call
do
with you?
we'll do a Zoom call. I need to ask some questions, make sure we're a good fit. I don't want to work with everybody just because I might not be the right person.
That's right.
You know, the one of the things that I've learned is, you know, not everybody is a good customer, and I'm not always going to be the good person to work with or for someone. So alignment is key. Alignment's key, and I'd rather be straight with someone and be honest with them. So the step one would be a discovery process, and
Awesome.
my greatest joy in life is helping people. I really believe that's my purpose in life. So when I can help someone, I do want to do it. So if there's a business out there where a right fit, I'd love to be able to help them.
I can feel that, by the way. I'm not joking when I say that. I can feel it from you. You've got like this. I want to help.
Well, my wife calls
service.
it a savior complex, right? And what I believe it is, you know, going back to talking about before we got on camera about past. Like as a kid, I was bullied and picked on, and really when I deep dived into why, it's because people just don't understand people, right? I grew up in an area where I was the abnormality, right? I grew up in an area that was mostly black. I'm about as white as you can be.
I'm whiter, bro.
Right? Okay.
You want to have a competition? I win this one.
We're close, but I used to have red hair before I had hair. So and I was a geek in school, and I was overweight. So I did martial arts in the 80s when it wasn't the cool thing like it is now. So I got picked on because kids didn't understand me. And then what I realized is like I want to help people feel how to be the best version of themselves. I realized this as a 6 and 7-year-old kid, and basically every decision I've done in life is about how do I help people discover who they really are, be the best version of themselves. You know, and now it's through business, right? Like that's the tool. But yeah.
But that's how you got here, man. Because the more people you help,
yeah, absolutely, you get what you want.
The more you want, man. I mean, it's the principle from Zig Ziglar. So you did get it. All right. So last question.
Yeah.
What does build your own economy mean to you?
I love that question. So for me, what I would see that is, you know, how whatever your circle is, whatever your level of influence you want to do in your world, you know, how do you dictate life on your terms? Many people, they spend their life letting world around them dictate to them. And so building your own economy would mean, you know, whatever that version of success is to you, how do you take control and live a meaningful, purpose-driven life that it's on your terms?
Dude. That was good, bro.
Cool, man.
Well, thank you so much
Absolutely.
for the talk.
Yeah.
Guys, check him out. If you haven't already checked out Aaron, you can find him. We're going to put his contact information below. This was a great episode. Thank you, guys, and thank you for being here, my man.
All right, appreciate you. Thanks, sir.